The following program is rated TV MALV. It contains strong language, violence, and nudity. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Here we go, Barflies. Welcome to the Barfly Tailgate Show. You already know it's done by Barflies for Barflies and all the other Bears fans out there. Good morning, gentlemen. It is finally here. The kickoff of the NFL season. Bears-Packers, the oldest rivalry in the NFL, kicks back off today. And I got to tell you guys, I woke up this morning with a smile on my face, and there ain't much that can take it away unless, Jordan Love becomes a Hall of Fame quarterback, but that's neither here nor there. How we doing this morning, fellas? I'm going to go around the room. I'll start with Chris and go down and around, and y'all can hit your intros, and then we'll just get right into it. What's going on, Chris? How you doing this morning?
I'm doing great, mate. All I can say is Super Bowl, baby. I'm off to Disneyland. I'm off to Disney World, baby. But yeah, absolutely amazing to be back, man. It's the proper season. It's proper games, and I'm really hyped up for this game tonight, man. I feel this is the closest, we've been to compete with Green Bay in many years, and it's always an absolute joy to speak to you three guys. My brother's on a Sunday morning to you and a Sunday afternoon to me. So, really looking forward to the new season with everybody in the chat as well.
Hell yeah, the chat's already live this morning. How you doing, KB? What's going on, brother?
Hey, man, you know how it is, man. And what it is ain't got to be said. You understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's football, baby. That's all that matters. Nothing else need to be talked about, man. It is going down today. We've been waiting. The wait is finally over. A lot of haters either finna be proved right or wrong. And in the mortal words, my boy Dion, we coming.
Yeah, I thought we was joking. And my guy Jordan, all the way across the coast. What's going on? Good morning, brother. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, AC. Good morning, fellas. It is the best day of the year for football fans, but it is one of the hardest days for me. You know I love all football of all different sizes and portions, so there is not a single bye week today. That means that it is one of the hardest weekends for me, but none other than the best game of the day, which is Packers-Bears. And what I like to always remind, because there's always a few Packers fans in the chat or some NFC North, the Packers wouldn't even be around if George S. Hallis didn't bail their punk asses out financially. That's so right. You remember who's daddy in the North. And that's all I'll say. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't call him Papa Bear for nothing. Y'all can go ahead and call him that too. Yeah, I mean, the chat's lively this morning, getting ready for everything. I went in yesterday. I was telling Chris before I came on, I went in yesterday. I went ahead and bought the Sunday ticket because your boy lives in Kentucky. Probably not going to use it today because I got Bengals Browns at 1, and then I've got Bears Packers at 4:30. And that's probably what I'm going to be watching. yesterday I went over to a buddy's house and had the UK game on and the Cubs game on, played a little poker. I smoked some wings to go with their pizza, and everybody loved them. It was all great. Today, your boy's making Chicago-style hot dogs to watch Bears-Packers, and I'm really pumped up. I'm excited for this game. I'm excited for having friends and family over. And like I said, I just hope everything works out and the Bears bring home that dub. And if we can embarrass the Packers, that would be fantastic. KB, you're muted.
Lord have mercy. I was talking and the thing popped up. But I would say nothing will make my heart more, you know what I'm saying, more happy, man. Bring me more joy than to see us beat the shit out of them and then have their fans complain about their wide receivers being bad. Oh, well, sucks to suck, don't it?
Yeah. I think Christian Watson's already been ruled out, and Romeo Dobbs is questionable. So maybe we'll see a big running game for both sides. I'm not really sure. Don Burr's up and early in the chat. I got to give him a little bit of flowers. His Lions went out on Thursday night and took care of business and beat the Chiefs. Whether they had Chris Jones or Travis Kelce or not, that's neither here nor there. The Lions did take care of business, and former Kentucky Wildcat Josh Paschal had a big stop on a 3rd down and 1 that, you know, I'll give you your flowers, Don. Your team looked really good. They looked prepared, and yeah, congrats to your Lions, brother.
Fuck them.
Enjoy
You get no flowers here.
How are you, KB? Fuck him.
He know what it is. Don't come into this chat talking some y'all better not lose. Hey, you know what, man? Father, fuck you. We don't give a damn. We're not playing this with you today, Todd. Not taking your shit, goddamn it. But good for him. They won. They needed that win. Because if not, they was gonna catch. Yeah. They were all gonna catch it.
Yeah. I was ready for to come in here either next week or on my other show on Wednesday and say first place Bears, and maybe we still will be if we beat the Packers. I think that's how the standings would work, because we would beat someone else in the. So you know, I'll be insufferable because I do my other show with a Packers fan. So I'm gonna let him know how I feel about it. I mean, I'm just so excited. It's hard for me to get my thoughts together this morning to put together a show. I don't really know where to start. So maybe I'll pitch to one of you guys if you guys want to. I don't know. Tell me what you're looking for in this game. Maybe a specific player to watch or something. KB, tell me what you're looking for first and foremost.
Oh man, I think this is almost easy layup. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking to see how my cousin and them dominate, bro. That's key number one. You know, him and Justin Jones gonna be in the middle. Let's see how the run game goes. You know, I talked to him yesterday. He said he was ready. The whole team was in high spirits. So man, you know, it's gonna come down to that. To me, is how is this run game gonna look from Green Bay? That's because right now that's a serious threat, right? That's gonna be their bread and butter right now, because Jordan Love doesn't have anybody he can really rely on. So you rely on that run game. Now during the preseason, seen a couple big runs up the middle. We've seen some that we're like, all right, man, it has to be shored up during the regular season. We can't see that. So we're here now. I got Doug Dyer asking me, you know what I'm saying, about the over under on my cousin making a sack. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna take one, you know, so we'll go with the over. But man, that's what I'm looking for. I mean, it's tons to look for in this game. But my you know the personal interest in me wants to see how good Cubs play.
Yeah, and in Chicago, we pride ourselves on good defense, and we did not see that last year at all. Actually, some of the preseason, it didn't look great. Sorry. So, yeah, D-line will definitely be a big thing today. Can we stop the run? Can you force Jordan Love to see what he's got? I mean, we don't know. They don't know. He was the most protected quarterback in the preseason. His PFF numbers showed that he was under the least amount of pressure, and he still had passes that he missed. So if we can get pressure, Yannick Ngakoue, we're going to be talking about you. DeMarcus Walker, can you get home? Can you take in this new role? Justin Jones has been saying all the right things for us Bears fans this offseason. How's he going to do on the field? Because that definitely that's what it comes down to, is put your money where your mouth is, go out there and produce, shut down this running game of the Green Bay Packers. I wore Brisker today. He said I hate Green Bay, and so I decided to wear my guy Jaquan Brisker today, and yeah, that's definitely a huge thing to look for, is how this Bears defense goes up against this brand new Packers offense. I mean, all the folks in Packers land are talking about, LaFleur finally gets to run his offense, because Aaron didn't, Aaron's a veteran quarterback who audibles out and does his thing, and all those things. Jordan, what are you? What's the biggest thing you're looking for today?
I got to tell everybody, and we're not getting to predictions yet, but you are so damn lucky that the injury report came out for the Packers, because I didn't have the rosiest outlook. But I will say that things have changed. I think that injury report absolutely matters. You have to look no further than the Detroit Lions and Kansas City Chiefs game to see what it means when you have certain starters out, and what that does to a quarterback, what that does to a team. I don't think the game plan's necessarily changed. I think the outcome has changed because of it, and we'll get into that. But to me, I think that Adam Stenavich, the Green Bay Packers offensive coordinator, he's a former offensive line coach. We all understand what offensive line coaches are all about. They want to run the ball, run it down your throat, and play smash mouth football. So I think that that's been the agenda, the MO from the very beginning. They're going to try to inflict punishment and pain and drive the Bears off the ball, displace them, and just run it down the Bears' throat with Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon early and often, to then try to set up play action pass opportunities and advantageous looks for Jordan Love. I think that that's what the Bears defense has to be ready for. I'm hoping that, a guy like Andrew Billings is there to shore up the middle. The Packers have a legit offensive line. Bakhtiari will be playing, even though he doesn't practice anymore. You got Elton Jenkins, Josh Myers, and you did Zach Tom at right tackle, and I believe Runyon at right guard. So you've got a decent offensive line there. And then, of course, for the Bears offense, I think that it's going to be we'll see how this offensive line does. But I know people think that the Packers have this awful defense, but you got Rashawn Gary coming back on limited snaps. Rashawn Gary is one of the better defensive players in the league when he's healthy. So we're going to see him test out Darnell Wright. We're going to see Lucas Van Ness put those power moves on Braxton Jones and see if that anchor's good. And then we're going to see Lucas Patrick, who I've been dying to see at center, get an opportunity to go against his former players, his former teammates, and Kenny Clark. And then, of course, what's going to happen with Justin Fields?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Justin Fields is the big one. My co-host on the 12-ounce Curl Route podcast, Kyle Busch, says Packers by 7, book it. He says 10 first-rounders on defense. I mean, I guess you put all that investment into the defense. You'll have to see how it works. And Chris is calling him a jerk off. Chris, what are you looking for in this game? What's the biggest thing?
Well, I mean, the obvious one is Justin Fields and how he's going to connect with DJ Moore and how he's going to read the game. Because the thing what sort of worried me in the preseason watching him was, he still doesn't seem to read the game quick enough to make them sort of quick decisions. So I'll be really interested to see how Justin is. But I think as well, like Jordan mentioned earlier on, because of the Packers' injuries to their wide receivers, it'd be really interesting to see how our defensive backs take advantage of that situation. Because we should really win that battle, because we've got everybody back fit. And I really think we should really take advantage of that. And also as well, I mean, I think nearly all their tight ends are rookies as well. So it'd be really good to see how our defensive backs can exploit our experience over their youth. I'd have to say my biggest concern still is our offensive line. Still, I mean, I don't even know what the starting 5 lineup is yet. Is Nate Davis playing today, or is he on holiday still, or what's going on there? So they're my sort of positives. But the main concern is our Is that O-line and plus our run defense as well?
Yeah, I think when the depth chart came out, they had Braxton at left tackle, Cody Whitehair at left guard, Lucas Patrick at center, right guard's Nate Davis, and right tackle is Darnell Wright. Our injury report came out, and it looks pretty clean. Not a ton of guys on there. One of the guys that were on there is a linebacker who's now been released with an injury designation. I believe his name was Dylan Cole. So I mean, they told us all offseason all these guys are ready for week one. Now, they didn't get a ton of snaps in the preseason, so maybe it looks choppy today. Maybe you see some players out of sync, which, I mean, hopefully a lot of those guys are on defense, you know. So I mean, you talk about the rookie tight end for the Packers that they went up and got. I think they got Musgrave. He had a ton of injuries in college, which really affected his stat line there. But we've got Tremaine Edmonds, one of the best coverage linebackers in the game today with his long arms and speediness. And he's coming back. He's still trying to knock the rust off from not really playing in the preseason. That'll be definitely something to watch. Yeah, just like you said, Chris, all the young playmakers for the Packers. You got Jordan Love in his first year starting. You got both your receivers, like your most experienced receiver has been in the league for 2 years. One of them's on the injury report. The other one's a possibility, probably on a pitch count of some sort. You got a rookie tight end. You just got a bunch of young guys. But Jordan brought up a good point about their offensive line and having cohesiveness. Bakhtiari is one of the best in the business at left tackle. It's difficult to get through him. He just shows up and does his job. That's a guy that I'm surprised Aaron didn't try to get with him up there in New York, because that's the one question mark they have in the Jets is on their offensive line. But I guess the Packers were like, no sirree, we're going to keep him right here. Yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited about today, man, and the chat's really excited. Everybody's pumped up, ready to go, man. It feels like Christmas morning where you're just waiting you see the presents under the tree, but you can't open them yet. And, you know, you don't know what's in that box. It could be socks. It could be a PlayStation. You have no idea. But we're hoping for PlayStations today. Well, Xbox. I'm more of an Xbox guy, but either way.
Throw up the eggs, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Just that big face.
Mm-hmm.
We just need a wanker alert from Chris on these Packers.
Wanker alert. Hey man, we gotta make it. We gotta make a button for it, you know what I'm saying? Like the easy button. He just popped that bitch like.
Yeah.
I meant to pull the sound from when Chris said to the crib. Remember when he said that, KB? I meant to pull that sound.
Hey, that shit was gold, bro.
Crib.
Chris, man, you going in and out, bro.
Yeah, you were cutting in and out on that one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So we had Lions beat the Chiefs on Thursday. You got Bears Packers today. Vikings are playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
That should be a dub.
It should be a dub. My exact point. So if you don't win this game, you're
in the bottom.
You're pushing back your starting line for the season in this division. You hate to say must win week one. You hate to say it, but it feels like a must win week one. I mean, You don't want to start 0-1 and give the Packers 1-0 in the division. And, you know, Lions are 1-0. Vikings are probably going to be 1-0. I don't see
Brian Flores is going to light that ass up, fellas. Brian Flores is going to light that ass up. Baker Mayfield is going to be crying tears today. Listen, I'm a Bears fan. Don't get it twisted. But I am going to watch every second of Vikings defensive ball this year. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I was gonna say, man, y'all don't think Baker Mayfield will come in and chat on his inner Oklahoma?
Hell no, he's gonna be on his backside.
Oh my God!
I'm not gonna lie. I liked Baker in college, and when the Browns picked him at first, I knew a lot of Browns fans that were highly upset that they picked him, and I was like, you may have gotten the best quarterback in this draft. Now, I do believe, was that the same draft as Josh Allen? So obviously that didn't work out. It was either Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson was in that same draft.
Weren't they both in the same draft?
Were they all in that
Yeah,
draft?
because Lamar went at the end of the first round.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah. So
Yeah, we could have had him.
yeah.
And I'm not at all trying to pay any deference to Don Burr, but full disclosure, and I can't wait. I hope I'm proven wrong. I had the Vikings winning the division at the end of the year, just because I think that you swap out Thielen, you get Addison in. I think Brian Flores is going to be a big charge to that defense.
Addison's a
But
dog.
on the sneak tip, those Lions are a nightmare, man. I'm not trying to see no fucking Lions, man. Those Lions are something different. I'm telling you.
Man, this what I'm gonna say, man, because you know your boy. Yeah, of course, first game of the year, you got to tune in. I kind of fell asleep in the second half, though. I'm not gonna lie, I was tired. That being said, Aiden Hutchinson is a nightmare. You know what I'm saying? Michigan fan, dude was nasty at Michigan, and he just continues to show that he's more than likely going to be a superstar. I hope he doesn't trend upwards of the Bosas and the TJ Watts of the world, though, because he's in the division. And that would fucking suck. But you could see he was beating Jawan Taylor ass like most of the night.
And that's their highly paid offensive tackle free agency. That's the big ticket spend.
But they kind of seem par for the course. You know what I mean? You got your old Wily vet and Marvin Jones, who's I don't like. How long has my man been in the league, bro?
I remember when he played for the Bengals. That seems
right.
like a decade ago.
It might have been shit, but you got him. He's still out there playing at 35 with crutches, still making catches. You got their biggest weapon, of course, is St. Brown. And you just kind of look at that team. You know, you get your 3 yards in a cloud of dust with David Montgomery. He's never going to be the home run hitter. But then you got that one weapon that's behind that man, Jamar Gibbs, who scares the shit out of me. That is the one person on that team, other than Aiden Hutchinson, that really gives me pause for concern. But I just don't see – I didn't see it. You played against a Kansas City defense that's young, didn't have their superstar on it, and all y'all can muster was 14 points. I get it. Kansas City's a Super Bowl champion. It is what it is. But if you were to do a blind picking session and you see that Kansas City defense without Chris Jones on it, and you throw up, Joe Blow's defense, let's say the Jaguars, or you come across somebody like the Colts or something like that. Like I said, you don't know names. You just say, you know what, I will pick that team because they look like they got a little bit more talent. You wouldn't pick Kansas City's defense. That's how I feel. They're just average, and without Chris Jones, they're really just average. And
that's one of the weirdest stories in the NFL too. I mean, Chris Jones sitting.
He was there,
luxury suite, just watching his team.
That's the biggest slap in the fucking face. Like I don't care what nobody say. My man was sitting there like he was high fiving people and shit.
He'll get his day.
Hey man, you turn around like, bro, why? They need you right now. Team needs you. But yeah, man, I don't know. I get it. Detroit, they have a little bit of excitement behind them. Bro, I don't know. I guess it's because it's Detroit. They ain't won shit like since '96.
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing with me is, and you talk about history, KB. Kennedy has only missed one playoff win of the Lions, so that tells you how bad of a franchise it's been. But to me, we all clowned on Dan Campbell when he got hired, when he had his press conference and he's talking about biting kneecaps and he wanted a real lion on the sideline and this and that. But this team, in my eyes, they've taken his personality to the field. They're strong up front. They fight you every single down. And yeah, maybe Kadarius Toney could have caught a ball once, but Kadarius Toney's been doing that since Florida, dude. Like at Florida, I remember Kentucky played them, and they always want to highlight someone, and Kadarius Toney was the guy they highlighted. His biggest plays at Florida were like end arounds, sweeps, little screen passes, stuff like that. And they're trying to make him be. They think he's going to be the next Tyreek, but it's not working out. And I mean, and how this connects with Bears. If we have to pay Justin Fields all that money, you have to supplement your receiving core, your defense, etc., with draft picks, and you have to hope those draft picks hit. So far, the Chiefs are looking like those draft picks are not hitting, or guys that they trade for. Maybe that's a team that at the trade deadline makes a move. I don't know, but
I'm calling my shot. Cooper Kupp will be in Kansas City.
Cooper Kupp just went on IR.
Oh, that's right, he did. Never mind. It's over with. They're fucked. They turned away DeAndre Hopkins. They're fucked.
I'm thinking like a Chris Godwin or something. If the Bucks start losing and start selling off pieces to try and rebuild, maybe something like that. I don't know.
Let me float this out there. I know it'll never happen, but just float it. What would you offer for Vita Vea if he was just like, oh, we're just in the rebuild and we're trying to unload some of our big pieces, and Vita Vea was, you know what I'm saying, just hey.
I gotta pass. It's I mean, he's a solid player. I like it, but I don't think that, I don't know, man. It's tough when you talk about D tackles for the Bears. I get it. Like, I mean, I'm looking at Jerzon Newton from Illinois. I'm looking at Mekhi Wingo with LSU in the draft, and I mean, you've got all these awesome D tackles, but it's hard for me to even imagine any of that when you just spent 2 top 100 picks on D tackles.
That's true.
And then you have, not that Justin Jones, and all respect to Andrew Billings, but not that you've given them a bag where they are mandated to be on the Bears in the future. But I tend to think that a lot of the spending, at least meaningful spending at defensive tackle, is probably gone. I think that, I mean, look no further than Velus Jones and how that's turned out, where they're willing to give that man chance after chance after chance after chance. So naturally, I tend to think that the Bears staff would look at Javon Dexter as well as Zach Pickens and say, let's give these kids a chance to grow. I'm excited to see how they play today. I think that they're going to get limited reps. I only say that because, I mean, when you saw the Buffalo Bills, they were in the game on that first drive against the Buffalo Bills, and they put them in and yanked them right back out because of how Buffalo was just working them. So I think that there will be a bit of a steep learning curve, and that's where I think, Bears fans need to understand that when we're talking about all of these rookies, it's not going to be day one. And that goes for the Packers, too, for what it's worth. You'll hear me bigging up Lucas Van Ness and things like that, but you're not hearing me talk about Lucas Van Ness like he's about to hit 7 spin moves on somebody. I think that if he sticks to his bread and butter, his power move, he may have some success against a guy with a questionable anchor like Braxton Jones. So to that point, I think that you have these D tackles, Javon Dexter, Zach Pickens. I think they're going to slowly develop. You're hoping, and I'm talking about if you're Poles, if you're Flus, you're hoping that these investments pan out. And if they haven't, such as like a Velus Jones, we've already been shown in history that they're going to give those 2 kids every opportunity. So to your point, I know it's a very long-winded way, but to your point, KB, as much as I love Vita Vea, I love Chris Jones. I don't think that they'd be trading for any of them.
No, I don't think we would end up with Chris Jones at all. Let me say, because it's a wonderful time, just to be football, because college football is back now, NFL is back today, and of course we all have been looking at people. The most thing that you'll see right now on anything is Marvin Harrison Jr. Of course, future Bear according to everybody.
You have to have a number 2 overall pick to get him, I think.
Right. Yeah. I got my little boyhood crush on my edge rusher that I would like to see the Bears pick, which I believe is actual possibility. Is there anybody right now that y'all see in college that you were just like, man, one of those first picks, that's a guy I got to have?
I think AC and I have the same guy, but go ahead, AC.
Ooh.
I've already tweeted about it.
Yeah, I think we have the same guy.
I saw it week 1 against LSU. I loved this guy last year in the draft. If he'd have came out last year, that would have been my pick. Jared Verse.
It's 3 of us there. It's 3 of us.
Put him on my edge. And, I mean, I've only seen Colorado a little bit, but after what I saw yesterday, I'm falling in love with their edge rusher as well, Dominique. I
Oh, that
guess he
kid
used
is
to
amazing.
play at Arkansas, and now he's gone to Colorado. He's a little bit smaller. I think he's 6'2", 250 or something like that. But he's got speed, tenacity, and he goes out. So if Jared Verse gets picked before we're on the clock, I'm starting to like Dominique a lot. But Jared Verse is the top of my wish list. Like I would take him over. I know Brian Burns is upset in Carolina, is wanting a new contract. Bosa was. He finally got his paycheck.
How are they paying people?
Because
they have
Brock Purdy. That's why.
Right. They have 8 or 9 players taking up 80% of their cap. So as much as I like the 49ers and I think they're Super Bowl contenders, that thing could come crumbling down quickly when those checks start coming up and they got to cash them. And
I got to quickly just put out, like Matthew Felchisi talking about Deion Sanders prime got these Colorado boys balling. I saw a tweet yesterday. I'd love to take credit for it, but this is the funniest shit I've ever seen. They were talking about he's playing real life NCAA football. He decided to take a shitty ass franchise and he's trying to rebuild it, but he's just doing it like you're when you're playing it on PS5 or whatever, whatever you're playing, I guess PS3 back in the day, you'd never lose a game. You make sure that you were winning right from the start. That's Colorado, these Buffaloes, man. Something else.
Yeah, and I know KB, you're muted again.
Oh, God
I know you wanted to talk about Colorado a little bit, so I kind of teed it up there for. I know you were talking about it last week. You wanted to say something about them.
Oh man, of course, the big thing to say is, and I want to start by saying this, as an alum of a HBCU, I do feel that we owe Deion Sanders a bit of an apology. That being said, I've never rooted against the man to fail. I understand there's levels to this shit, right? You have stepping stones. He got the job at HBCU. He did his damnedest to get Jackson State all the publicity they needed, and it actually shined a lot of hope.
Got a college game day there. I'm sure they never had that before
at all. And you get it puts a spotlight on everybody else that's there. You start getting more coaches and shit coming into these black college programs and stuff like that, which is what we needed. Now you leave. Yes, it was real shaky. You know what I'm saying? A lot of folks is pissed off. Jackson State wins the championship. Y'all, all right, man, look, I got to peace out because I got to get on the plane to get to Colorado type shit. Rubbed a lot of us the wrong way. Like I said, at the end of the day, never rooted against this man to fail. So to see him doing what he's doing, you have, like you said, you have pretty much a cupcake team that you can build on NCAA. You might drop a couple players in, you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, yeah, this kid's an 88, and this kid's an 80, this kid's an 80. But this team is winning. They have one of the more impressive wins already during this season by beating TCU. TCU was in the national championship last year. Yeah, it was a fucking scoring fest, and Shedeur Sanders looked amazing. And I tweeted this out yesterday. Right now, we have to start talking about this kid as possibly one of the top 5 best quarterbacks right now if he decided to declare at the end of the season. It's one thing to do it in one game and then still look as poised as you did and be as accurate as he is. The kid has a fucking arm. I didn't know his arm was that strong, bro. He has a cannon. You do it in one game. All right, maybe it's a fluke. Maybe it's the first game, Colorado did everything they could and they pull it out. But you go home, you have Nebraska come in. Nebraska came out playing. They were
they went and got Matt Rule this offseason to try and turn their things around.
Exactly. So you get them in, and then you see in the first half, and it's starting to look like what you might think it is. Shedeur doesn't play as well. Travis Hunter ain't really putting up the stats he's putting up. Dylan Edwards isn't really getting the yards that he was getting. And then halftime comes. Look, Deion Sanders has every goddamn unlock possible on his coaching tree. If we going Madden and NCAA route, he has motivator. He probably has key speech. Hometown advantage. Whatever the fuck you want to give that man. Halftime, something changed and it clicked. Yeah. And you came out, and then this man turned in another virtuoso performance. he has 7 touchdowns right now in the season, almost 1,000 yards passing in 2 games. Yeah, it's college football. I get it. You can put up gaudy stats. But I would be hard pressed to say if we had some shit happen this year. I'm not saying that's going to happen. You can knock on wood. If Shedeur Sanders declared and Fields wasn't looking up to snuff, if Shedeur was on the board, I would probably take the swing. All because of the pause. This is Deion Sanders' kid, but that's just me. I'm not saying that we're going to do that. I'm not saying that Justin Fields is going to suck. I'm saying he's a very, very intriguing prospect, and if his arc continues, a conversation needs to be had. And it's gonna it's 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that when they play USC. That's that. Oh. What my man say on the longest yard? Lots of intrigue, lots of interest. Cha cha cha. That's gonna be that game.
I won't say too much to it, but I mean, I just and on a sentimental note, as a California boy, I think you all know, I am so damn happy to see the Pac-12 back in relevance. And I mean,
for a year,
don't have to go to it now, and hopefully the Bears aren't drafting a quarterback. But man, it's not. I know everybody knows Caleb Williams, Drake May, but it's JJ McCarthy, it's Michael Penix, it's Cam Ward, it's Shedeur Sanders, it's Quinn Ewers, it's Riley Leonard. Like I'm telling you, the amount of quarterbacks that are making plays is just unreal. And what makes me want to give a tear out is that just as the Pac-12 is finding relevance again, they're all leaving next year.
They're all going. Yeah.
Like it kills me. It kills me. But I mean, hey, all respect to Colorado, Deion, primetime. I think that Shedeur looks awesome. I mean, KB, to your point, I wouldn't even say I was sleeping on the kid. I was just like, well, there's just others that I have a little higher, and he's forcing his name into the conversation. And I think that Colorado is going to have a wonderful year. I cannot wait to see them versus some of the bigger dogs. And that's not that TCU's not a dog or Nebraska, but obviously we're talking about SC. We're talking about Washington, who's got a pretty solid team, and seeing how these Pac-12 matchups go.
Yeah. I mean, I grew up a Deion Sanders fan. Actually, my first jersey that I ever had, my first jersey I ever had was Corey Dillon's Bengals jersey. But the first jersey that I asked for Christmas and got was the navy blue Cowboys Deion Sanders jersey because he was my favorite player, and I just loved the guy on and off the field. I was like, he will shut you down and he will let you know about it all day long. And the only question mark with his son at quarterback is that he has been coached by his father since he was about 6 years old.
Yeah, that's true.
So the question would be is if you get him, say the New England Patriots draft him, how would he do under Bill Belichick or the Steelers? How would he take to a hard coach like Mike Tomlin, who's going to coach you hard? And he's doing it for you to be the best, but I don't know how because I watch my son play football, but I don't know if I could ever be his head coach because it's difficult to, and maybe Deion does it fine. I don't know, but
I'm sure he holds his son
separate.
I'm sure he holds his son, coaches his son harder, holds him more accountable than any other player on that team.
That's facts.
I think that Shedeur Sanders' life is probably miserable playing under Deion, but you
love it. He's following him all around.
That's the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady thing. Like he chew out Tom all the time. But guess what?
Absolutely.
When it's that way, there's a reason you have that success.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean,
we better get back on track here.
I know. Real quick though, Bellissimo was joking around saying like, would Sanders the next Bears head coach? And no. But I mean, I'll tell you what. One name that is interesting is Dave Aranda, the Baylor head coach. They're 0-2 out the gates, and I don't know how many people know Dave Aranda, but he's a defensive genius mastermind. And so, to that point, Bellissimo, I don't really care who is the Bears head coach. Can I just please get a better defense? I'm just being honest. Just give me a better defensive scheme. However that looks like. If you want to hire a new DC, if you want to hire a new head coach, obviously I'm joking, but I tend to think the head coach is what needs to be replaced because he loves this archaic 2000
cover 2 shit.
Yeah, yes, but I mean, anyways, back to the Bears.
I mean, Jordan, regarding what you just said about our coach at the moment in time there, I mean, he does put a lot of wrinkles into that scheme. It's not like the same scheme which Louis Smith are playing with in the mid noughties. So I think he does sort of mix it up a little bit. But what would you prefer to play if you don't particularly like that sort of scheme at the moment?
Well, and I appreciate the question, Chris. And to be fair, let me give the flowers to Flus. And I understand Alan Williams. They were playing with neighbor kids, XFL talent last year. I mean, for the most part. So I understand. And I as somebody that really kind of did a deep dive on the Colts back when they had all their players and what it looked like. He did have very interesting wrinkles, exotic looks to get into Tampa 2. They played a lot of cover 3 single high on early downs. But even then, it's not that that's just miserably predictable, but that is very much like, okay, so on early downs, we're going to put an extra man in the box, and then we're going to force you to try to matriculate down the field. And I won't go so deep on this, but I think I'll be able to answer your question, Chris. We're at a time right now where there was a bit of a meta in defense where the better defenses would say, we want to force these offenses that are explosive to matriculate down the field. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to put a shell or a roof on the defense and play 2 high safeties, play cover 2, play quarters. And if your offensive drive has to take 18 plays as opposed to 6, there's 12 more opportunities there for us to get a takeaway, to force some mayhem. So it's not that it's the worst sound idea, but it's just not my preference. So to your question, Chris, I love the reason you heard me wax poetically about Brian Flores, and he's kind of one of the only ones, but there's a few others, but he's the only one that does it the way he does, which is, and this is why I think the Vikings went out and got him. That's why I think it's going to be successful for them. It is a high leverage, high stakes defense, but what Flores does that I would like to see more teams, not just the Bears, do, is they are not letting the offense dictate to them. They're not saying, okay, well, you'll play your offense. We're going to try to put a roof on you, and we're going to try to make you make mistakes. They bring the fight to the offense by bringing everybody up to the line. It's extremely hard on the DBs. They're asking them to backpedal 40 yards as opposed to sitting there and coming down from a too high level. So I just think that, to me, and some of that, Chris, this will be my last point, is when you line up with 4 down linemen and you've got your either 2 backers because you're a nickel or your 3 because you're in base, that can create a lot of predictability in your pass protection sets and your formations and what you're seeing out of a defense. It's incredible. And this is not even just a fluke thing. This is anywhere in the NFL. This is even Fangio, whether they get into penny looks or otherwise. But when you play a team like the Vikings this year, or any of those, the New England style, really, you have the most difficult time trying to set your passing protection there because you have so many bodies and some are dropping. You get simulated pressures. You get mugged A gaps. I mean, it's early in the season, but this is the whole point today is preseason's done, right? So let's see. I'd be curious. Let's do a field dive this week. Let's see how often you see the Bears get into some double mugged looks. Let's see how many. I think that they're going to blitz Jordan Love quite a bit. But let's see.
I think that would be the best idea.
Yeah. Are they going to overload the fronts? Are they going to have simulated pressures? We'll see. I mean, and to the last thing, Chris, is to your point that you said, like, he does add wrinkles. They do drop some defensive linemen when they do that. And that's some creativity. They had Travis Bell dropping in the preseason, which is an interesting move. So it's not that it's all bad with Foose. It's just that really what it comes down to, and I think he's probably a great man. I have no doubt that his principles are fantastic. I think the HITS philosophy is a good way to play football. I think he probably gets a lot of love and respect from his players, his coaches. So it's not even that. I think it's just, for me, it's just a preference thing. That's ketchup, and maybe I like to go mustard on this.
Yeah.
Oh, cheers,
Yeah, I agree with a lot of that. I mean, Poles obviously liked the guy. He interviewed him. He said that was his guy, so that's who he went with. It's difficult for me to watch majority of the NFL going with offensive minds at the head coach position, and the defense kind of taking a back seat to where because like I've said earlier, if somehow this works out and our offense looks really good, the defense holds up, and we're looking at a playoff team or something, and Justin Fields continues to ascend to the level he needs to, well, then you're looking at Getsy getting a head coaching job like Daboll did with Buffalo, because they have a defensive head coach. It's the reason Eric Bieniemy left Kansas City, where he had a nice safety blanket, but every time he interviewed, he's under an offensive head coach. They're asking him, we saw what happened with Nagy. Is this your offense or is this Andy Reid's offense? We need to see what you've got. Yes, KB, I see your eyes when I say that name. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to curse, but it's
curse. You see how he neutered fucking Patrick Mahomes and them.
And that beautiful Denny's menu, that McDonald's menu that he has laminated.
Hey, wait, I need something to put in front of my face. My man was like,
I think they ran the ball like 17 times, and I was
God.
Shocker.
Right.
How could we have imagined that?
No one saw this coming.
People were giving him a hard time, and it's fine. I do. To be fair, I do think a lot of that, the bullshit stuff that was going with KC is probably some of Nagy too. But we don't have to totally go on the side. But I just have to say it. I have no disrespect to the Chiefs offense. They're fantastic every year. They're great. But like to the point we're talking about, like preference and styles of what you prefer on certain things. I hate the Chiefs offense. I hate that just finesse bullshit where we're running shovel options, a little pitch. I just cannot stand it. It is like, it's all fancy window dressing, but that's just not how I'd prefer to play football. So seeing it cost them was fantastic. I was so happy about it.
I was going to say, Patrick Mahomes said
you got a Hall of Fame tight end taking the top off of defenses and running the team.
My man said it best on the quarterback, bro. They play backyard quarterback. They play backyard football, bro. And it was just validation. You see it. There is no scheme. It's y'all run down, somebody get open. If you don't get open, keep running around until you get open. I got the arm to get you the ball, so it works.
Rick Ruder says he's on the train to Soldier Field. Let's go, baby. Week 1, Bears, Packers. This guy's got the right idea going down there. Probably going to tailgate a little bit. If you hit up the South Lot, look for our friend and former co-host Mike Schaefer. He's got the South Lot down pat, and great guy if you run into him.
Can I ask you, fellas, is there a certain thing today regarding, I mean, you can make it about the Packers if you want, but regarding the Bears that is the most concerning to you? Like, if you're like, holy, if this happens, I got this circled as if this happens, it's going to be a real bad day.
Offensive line. I'm just going this fuck that. That's number one. The offensive line. How does it hold up?
Chris?
Go ahead,
sorry, mate. Originally offensive line, but I just think our run defense, really. Because they've got two great running backs, and all the way through the pre-season we've been pretty lousy on the run defense. So if they sort of maybe like get a score up and they're going to start pounding the ball at us, that really, really worries me. Really worries me.
I think I'm going to go with Leo Factor here when he says interior D-line and edge. We kind of spoke on it earlier. You really need to shut down this running game of the Packers and force Jordan Love into passing situations. And when that happens, are you going to get your worth out of Yannick Ngakoue, or is there a reason he's been on 5 teams in 5 seasons or 5 teams in 4 seasons or something? You got to – we have to shore it up. It all starts up front. I know it's cliche, but it's the truth. O-line and D-line is where it starts and ends with this group. Although we have an athletic quarterback, a stable of running backs, and hopefully an offensive coordinator who, if your O-line is struggling, they will scheme away from it. They will add chip-in blocks. You got Komet. You brought in Tunyon. You brought in Mercedes Lewis simply because he's a great blocking tight end.
Tunyon ain't playing.
What did we see in the preseason? Screen pass to DJ Moore to the house. Screen pass to Herbert to the house. Screen pass to everybody. They were all screen passes. So you have an offensive coordinator who can scheme to help with that. And in this defense, you don't really have they don't like to blitz. So you got to get home with your D-line and edge rushers. I would love to see Tremaine Edmonds come right down through the A-gap and make Jordan Love make a quick decision. But we don't see that in this defense often. So you have to get home with your four guys. You have to. There's no other choice. But that's the biggest concern for me in this game. What about you, Jordan?
Yeah, it's it's why I asked, because I think that we have and I'm not just trying to blow smoke, but we have a very astute group here of yourself, AC, Chris, KB, because that, to me, you guys hit it. I think the offensive line and the defensive line of the Bears is kind of the big issues to me, or the big concerns. But if I had to really nail it down, to me, I think it's intrigue more than I'd say it's a concern. Particularly because if Justin Fields has done anything in his life, he's made sure through the last 2 years he's been able to handle leaky tackles. My actual, if we're talking like real concern, is how is Kenny Clark, or I guess it's going to be TJ Slayton, but ultimately the interior of the offensive line, how are they going to hold up? But to get a little more specific, I'm really intrigued and interested to see how these Bears tackles do. I think they both have different things to show. We don't have a lot of tape on Darnell Wright. And I mean, we're going to see what that looks like. Presumably, I think Gary will be lined up over him. And I get it. Everybody wants to crown Darnell, right? I'm not at all telling you he's not a good player, but I still am I need to see what you look like for a full game at this weight, because I know you looked fantastic at 330. I know that you looked fantastic at Tennessee when you were in a much bigger frame. I'm sure he's going to move fantastic, but have there been any negativities built into his game from shifting his body to be more svelte? And then on the flip side, massive credit. I got to say, like, legit credit, because it didn't get tested a ton. But if you watch the preseason, you can see it. Braxton Jones definitively has improved his anchor. Like, there's been guys that have tried to push. He still gives up some ground, but it's not nearly as bad. Like, what would have been destroyed last year is there. It's holding up. So massive credit to him. But does that hold up over the course of a game? And the Packers, I only bring this up because the Packers play defense different than most others. They have a few other teams that play it this way. The Ravens have some physical guys. Titans have some physical guys. But the Packers don't have a lot of bendy edges. It's not Brian Burns out there trying to beat you around the corner. It's these brick shit houses that it's Lucas Van Ness that's going to sit there and try to drive his hands into your chest and drive you back. It's Rashawn Gary that's going to do the same. Preston Smith's got that same type of game. Kingsley Agnagbari from, SEC country, Aaron, you probably know him. Another power guy. So, and this is the thing. That's the whole point I bring them all up, is they've got waves of these dudes. So how do the power games of these waves of Packers defenders affect the Bears offensive tackles?
And see, that kind of plays into what I was thinking, right? Because, I said just offensive line, and that's my main concern. I remember when we first started talking about this during the off season and saying, hey, I wish we can get this person to shore up this and blah, blah, blah. My whole concern was the interior, right? You got Cody White here playing back at left guard. And we know notoriously last year, my man didn't necessarily play the greatest. Average, maybe a little bit less than average, possibly. Yeah, he was sitting next to the Mustafa kid. Maybe that played a lot into it because Mustafa was getting his ass beat like a drum. You know what I'm saying? You can only play as good as the guy that's next to you. I get that. So you got somebody in there that we haven't seen play center, but nothing other than one time in one series in almost 2 years. And then we have Nate Davis, who he's a consummate pro, but yeah, he has stuff going on this offseason. We didn't really get to see him much. He hasn't really got to practice much. And I've said before, that you can have, right, the tackles get pushed a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Because that's how your pocket forms. You go around, they take them around the edge, you let them do that. But if that core of your inside line crumbles and Fields can't step up, or Fields can't sit in the pocket because it's being pushed back into his lap, that's where we have the problem. And you look no further than Kenny Clark. The dude's a powerhouse, man. It's like Jordan said, he's pretty much like how their edge rushers are, but a defensive tackle. He's gonna push them back into his lap. And it scares me because, like I said, you have one guy hurt, two other guys that haven't really played in a little bit. So that's where my main concern happens. Yes, I understand people are going to get beat. Braxton Jones will probably beat once or twice during this game, and that's going to happen. Darnell Wright, the same thing. He's a rookie. Not expecting him to come in and be Penei Sewell day one, or you know what I'm saying, Braxton Jones to be you know what I'm saying, Trent Williams right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? I understand it's going to take that time. But right now, I got more faith in those two than I got on the inside. Even though we have
if Lucas Patrick cannot finish the game, we got a guy behind him who I am quickly falling in love with. Dan fucking Feeney.
Feeney?
Wearing, beer drinking, fucking hard-nosed offensive lineman. As soon as I saw we traded for him, looked him up, and I love that guy. His attitude, he is just, and I even told my wife, I was like, I love this guy. And she was like, what's so special about him? I was like, look at him at a hockey game. And it was the video of him chugging the beer and smashing it on his head. That's what the fuck I want. I want big, nasty, mean offensive lineman who's going to come up, hit you in your mouth over and over and over and over and over. And over and over and over and over and over again until you submit. And that's exactly what he does. So I love that guy. I know he's not starting, but I think it's only a matter of time before he does get in there and start.
I'll tell you what, he the best thing about Feeney is he could play any of the three interior. So if any of those guys go out, either hurt or they're not playing well, we'll see, but I don't get the sense that they'd be afraid to pull one of those guys out, be it a Patrick or a Whitehair, and then all of a sudden bring in Feeney. I don't think they'll pull Davis just because of the payday, but we'll see. I will say though, just no, Chris, go ahead.
I'll just going to start. The first time I saw the picture of Feeney, he just looked like my dad from the 1980s with like haircut and mustache. I'm like, whoa! But you know what I mean? That's what I like. I like an offensive lineman that way, and I like the attitude as well. And I just think it's going to be a good addition. But sorry, Jordan, please continue, mate.
Oh, that's okay. I was just because I know, but you got George Barlissimo in here going. He doesn't like us talking about the concerns of the Bears, but he was saying, like, what do the Packers had to be concerned about? So I want to take this. I mean, I'll certainly pass the baton, but if I can go first here.
That's what I was going to go to next. So go ahead.
I want to sit here and be able to kind of take my lock of the week. My lock of the week, matchup of the week, if you will. Both sides, it's the best part about it, is I don't think you get this every week, but this one, it matters. Give me the position, the battle, the matchup of the week that I'm watching as the slot defender for both teams. And the reason I say that it should be a Bears. It should benefit the Bears on both ways. So a little background. I've had Chase Claypool score a touchdown in the first Bears game of the season for like months now. And I was kind of like, it just kind of feels right. No, I'm definitely like hammer that shit home today. Hammer that shit hard. And I say Claypool because I think he'll be in the slot. But really what I'm saying is whoever's in the slot, sign me up for a touchdown. If not multiple. And the reason I say that is because Eric Stokes is out. He's on the pup list.
Yep.
And Keyshawn Nixon, who is he's a Rich Bisaccia guy from the Raiders. And he's now their starting nickel. And if that's DJ Moore, if that's Darnell Mooney, if that's Chase Claypool, I think that the slot receiver is going to have a field day on the slot corner if Justin Fields has the time to get it out there.
Well, I know we all talked about what Justin Jones came out and said about the Packers, what Jaquan Briskers came out and said about the Packers. Rasul Douglas came out from the Packers and said, look, I've played in this league at Philly, at Arizona, at several other stops, and I have never lost to the Bears. He said it's not a rivalry to me because of that. So you've got that on the outside, and you've got hopefully we have an offensive coordinator who will move, or if Jair Alexander is not going to follow DJ Moore wherever he goes,
he is.
Move him around and get nasty. He didn't do it last year, KB. He even complained about it. So that comes down to your defensive coordinator. If that's what he wants to, if he's running, you're over here, this is what we're doing. Move our guys around and see how they adjust. That's definitely a big thing, Jordan. But I mean,
and I'll just quickly on the other end, because I got to the Packers side and the Bears receivers are just going to have a field day. Give me the other matchup of the week is Kyler Gordon. And the reason I say that is because
Spider-Man.
It's possible that Jaden Reed is playing on the outside now that because you got it. Yeah. Those that are totally just kind of in the clouds. Christian Watson's a starting X receiver for the Packers. He's out. And then you got Romeo Doubs, who's playing, but is definitely he's going to be on limited reps, and he's definitely not at 100%. So I do think he'll probably slide over to the X role, but traditionally he's the Z. And they kind of swap. But the reality is now you're up to Jaden Reed and Samori Toure. And they were planning on having Jaden Reed as the slot receiver, and the only reason I think he'll probably still play there is he's a young receiver. I don't think that they're all of a sudden going to go, well, I know you've been practicing as slot, but you better know all the X routes or Z routes and just go move to the outside. And so to me, I like Jaden Reed. I think he's a good player, and he's a physical slot. For his size, he actually plays some pretty big bully ball. But I think Kyler Gordon is game for that. And if you're talking about Jordan Love, who doesn't have the speedster yak freak in Christian Watson, and has a guy that most DBs could probably play with one hand behind their back because he's injured in Romeo Doubs, then now you're looking at the tight ends, or you're looking at Jaden Reed as the next best option. And I think Kyler Gordon locks that ass up like nobody's business. Oh, yeah. So to me, matchup of the week is the slots.
I like Barlissimo's point here. The double moves on the outside corners, both of them bite hard. I said this last year about Rasul Douglas. That's why he's moved around the league so much. He likes to get greedy and try to jump routes. So double move these guys. Make them work. You got to make them work.
I mean, you had an Nikhil Harry slow ass beat Jair Alexander on a double move.
That's true.
You got lead foot over there.
His ass.
And you give that to DJ Moore. He's going where, Chris?
God,
he's going to the house.
He's going to the what? The crib.
We get 305. We're gonna get 305 Trick Daddy. Take it to the house.
Take it to the house. Take it to the house. Hey, you know what's funny though? Because there we go. I was gonna say I'm pretty sure somebody said Claypool came out just recently and talked about Getsy saying that he does a great job getting to where he needs to be, and saying that I guess in Pittsburgh, especially in the early goings, there was a lot of vertical routes that he would run, which is where he feels the strength of his game is. So with that being said, I do feel like it'll be times where we see him in the slot, but I feel like he's going to be doing a lot of those vertical go routes because that's what he likes to do.
If that man could put Sauce on notice,
oh yeah,
he can absolutely put Jair Alexander. I love Jair Alexander, not disrespecting him, but
scrappy dude
like him and Rasul Douglas.
You don't like him. I forgot Louisville. But I was gonna say, man.
You broke out completely.
I didn't hear him.
I will say though, briefly to the other thing that George, like, hey, what does the Packers worry you about, or what should they be worried about? Is they have Rudy Ford as their other starting safety, and like I got to own my priors here. Darnell Savage was one of my favorite safeties that year. I was actually and I'm not even trying to stunt here, like, because I'm not like friends with the guy, but I was at the 2019 Bears opener, and Kyle Brandt was there. It was the opening game of the season. And I was telling Kyle Brandt at the time, like, I was worried Darnell Savage was going to have a pick on Mitch Trubisky that game. It ended up being Amos to end the game. But that kind of all ties into the fact that I loved Savage coming out. And Savage has actually been a disappointment for the Packers. And, I mean, we're talking about slot players. He actually has looked best when they put him at nickel. So if Keyshawn Nixon struggles, maybe they move Savage to nickel. But then this is my whole problem is there is no Amos anymore. There is no – now, they did get one of my favorite safeties in the 7th round, Anthony Johnson. But Anthony Johnson's not even starting. If we look at their depth chart, you're looking at Anthony Johnson would be the backup for Rudy Ford. I personally would have probably started Johnson out the gate. Not that Rudy Ford's an awful player, But that is, to me, when you're talking about, now we got to see Justin Fields. You want to talk about Justin Fields and the awesome arm. I would be trying to find ways to put those safeties in conflict. And you can probably find a time or two, as they like to play too high, you can probably find a time or two where you can get Rudy Ford in conflict on a post route when he's expected to be the post safety. And it's just bombs away because I do not have a lot of faith in Rudy Ford as a safety. So to George, I hope that takes care of your point of like what do the Packers have concerns of. I think there's quite a few concerns on defense for the Packers. I think they have a great front seven. I think their DBs are okay, but you've got a couple holes there. As far as offensively, I just think the lack of receivers is going to kill the Packers. They're going to run the ball well, but the problem
Chris,
is
what do you think? What do you think the Packers have to worry about today? What's the biggest thing that you think the Bears can take advantage of against this Green Bay Packers team?
Who you talking about me?
I mean,
Chris.
I personally think it's what's that?
Go ahead, Chris.
Go
Can you
ahead.
hear me?
Yeah, you good. You good.
I mean, Matt, cool. Yeah, I mean, I just want to see our defensive backs take advantage of the injuries what the Green Bay Packers wide receivers have got, and also their inexperience. I think that could be a unit what really could take advantage of that situation. And also as well, I mean, this is a bit like slightly going off slack, but I'd just be interested to see as well what sort of offense Getsy brings out today. Is it going to be a lot different to what we saw last year when it was very sort of conservative? Even though we seem to sort of get off at a quick start on the scripted plays, it sort of got very conservative. So I'll be really interested to see what he starts calling in this game, really. And then you could probably judge him better as a coordinator, that he's got less excuses because he's got better talent now. So they're the sort of things what sort of have been going around my sort of vacant head for the last couple of days.
Yeah, that's definitely good points. I definitely wanted to bring up the secondary. I wore my Brisker jersey today because I think he's going to have a good game. You got Bojack coming back and healthy. You got Kyler Gordon take over that slot, really looking good in the preseason. He had his hands on some interceptions and he was hitting guys, which is always fun to see. You got Tyreek Stevenson, who hopefully he can keep his temper under control and keep those penalties out of it. So, because we can't be giving these guys free yardage. And of course, Jalen Johnson is just the ultimate professional. I mean, he shows up to work every day, tightens up his bootstraps and pulls on his gloves and just goes to work. He doesn't get all the interceptions, but he sticks to guys like glue. And it's definitely a big thing, especially if they're going with backup receivers who they don't have a ton of experience. They may or may not have a ton of reps with Jordan Love. I know he's been working out with Romeo Doubs for a few years because they were both on that scout team coming up together. So that's going to be his go-to today. But you stick Jalen Johnson on him and make him have to go somewhere else, make him build a relationship with Musgrave. And then when he does that, you've got Tremaine Edmonds in the middle and TJ Edwards in the middle and my guy Jack Sanborn out there, or a slot guy. We just talked about Kyler Gordon. That's definitely a big thing, Chris, is our secondary trying to take advantage of their weapons on offense. What about you, KB? What's the biggest thing that you think the Bears take advantage of today against the Packers?
I think the biggest thing that had been said is of course is Jordan Love. Let's not sugarcoat this. Jordan Love is not Aaron Rodgers by any stretch of the mean. Jordan Love is a very unknown. From what we all have seen and kind of understood was, all right, yeah, the dude came in last year. He played decently in the game. Okay, that's one game. You come off the bench, you either shit or you shine.
Mm-hmm.
He shined a little bit. Good for him. Now, what is it? What's the pressure on this kid now? Because you come in a game like that, what's the pressure on you? You know what I'm saying? Y'all wouldn't pick to win that game at all anyway. But now you're coming in with the expectations to be the guy. You're coming in on this long line of Hall of Fame quarterbacks. Well, I ain't gonna say long line. We'll just say this line of Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
40 years. Almost 40 years.
Okay, so we can say long line. I was just going by the people. But you're bringing up the rear of Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers. You know what I'm saying? What are you?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you said, today you got to look at the fact this man probably hasn't been throwing to these wide receivers a whole lot. He's played with Romeo Doubs, of course, but that's one thing. You got somebody that's half a wide receiver today. How frantic do you get when the bullets start to fly? Because that's something we haven't really got to see. You're not going to have that real go-to guy or that kid that can bail you out like a Christian Watson. As much flack as I gave the kid last year for not being able to catch until a certain part of the fucking season, he has wheels. So you can drop something off and the kid will take the ball 70 yards like DJ Moore does untouched. So how does he handle what the Bears are going to throw at him? Hopefully it's not the vanilla bullshit that we've been used to seeing. To me, I would bring as many exotic pressures as I can at the kid. Make him read a field. Make him sit there and say, okay, yeah, they're sitting back in zone on this play. I need to go here because this is what my route progressions are. Don't make him think that and don't give him the time to actually think it. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like as a Bears fan, that's what we have always had to deal with. A lot of these people that come in, these quarterbacks that we feel, hey, if they just did this, we should be successful. And then we sit back and fucking coverage and send 3 people the entire fucking game. And then we get picked apart by Mike White. You know, we lose to what's my man's name? The kid that played it for Denver that year. Brock Osweiler.
I knew where you were
going. It's that stigma to me that the Bears defense has, that the Bears have, period. It's always this soft coverage and not coming after these young kids who have the weight of the world on their shoulders, man. Send pressure at them, make them think, and then take the ability away to think. It's that type. It's chess.
Yeah.
If I make you do something and then I take it away from you, you panic. You want to make Jordan Love panic. And to me, that's what the biggest key of this game is, because if Jordan Love doesn't play well, they don't win.
Yeah. And I mean, we got Packers fans who have never seen a starting quarterback for them that's not Hall of Fame level. I mean, they've had it for 30 years. I'm 35. So in my lifetime, really in my football watching lifetime, they've had a Hall of Famer under center. So yeah, that's definitely a big thing. All the pressure is on them to succeed, and Packers fans are gonna let you know how they. I mean, they're the owners of their team, right?
Yeah.
So they'll let you know how they feel about what they see on the field. If y'all are gonna leave it for me and tee it up for me, the biggest thing for me today is Justin Fields. Justin fucking Fields. He's got to show up today. He's got to show out today. Not only running the ball all over this defense, but as well as passing the ball. We went out and we got him weapons. You got a DJ Moore you can move around. Mooney's back healthy. You got Chase Claypool that you basically traded a first-round pick for. You brought in Big Bob Tunyon on one side, and you just paid Cole Kmet on the other side. So you have got to take advantage of these weapons, and if they're covered, take off and run. Because I'll just tell you guys, I told Chris before I got on here, sports gambling finally passed in the state of Kentucky. They passed it all around us before they finally passed it here, because apparently you can't bet on something Saturday night and then go to church on Sunday, because they frown upon that in the Bible Belt. But they finally passed it. So your boy went down to Red Mile on Friday, and I started sports gambling. I hit yesterday on Miami over Texas A&M +3. Your boy hit that. And today I have Bears Packers. I have Bears Packers under 46.5, and I have an anytime touchdown for Justin Fields at +111. I was like, that's fucking free money. So my guy Justin Fields, go out there, prove you're the man, score some touchdowns, and help me put a little bit of money in my pocket too. I sure would appreciate it.
So forgive me for that. Just so I'm forgive. I have to ask though, real quick, Chris. So AC, if something's +111, let's say you put $100. So is it that you're getting 111 back?
I believe that's how it works. Yes.
Okay.
I was hoping Tooch would be on here today. I did message him, and he's a little busy this morning. He was trying to make it. If he hops in, maybe we'll talk gambling. But if he, I don't know. I'm about ready to go around and get predictions and try to close this thing out so that Tooch can come in here and help people set their fantasy lineups before it's too late. because I woke up this morning and said Mark Andrews ain't playing, so I had to scramble and try and find a tight end. So I know his show's definitely going to be needed this morning, first week of the season. But I'll go around the room. I'll start with Jordan and go this way, and then we'll give me your score prediction, bold prediction, and an MVP. I used to do offensive and defensive MVP. Just give me who you think the MVP of the entire game is going to be. And if you want to hit shout-outs, go ahead and hit your shout-outs, and we'll get on out here for the day. Go ahead, Jordan.
Sounds good. Well, I say this as kind of the joker, the villain of the group. Bears, the chat, you Bears fans, you are lucky. You're off the hook this week. I'm swear to God, I'm not kidding. I was picking the Packers to win this game before the injuries were happening. Yes, I was. And definitively, like no doubt in my mind, I had the Packers beating the Bears this game before the injuries happened. That has flipped, and I will go into a brief explanation as to why. But so score prediction, I have it 24-20 Bears. And the big difference there is that I don't necessarily – that's the interesting part is I don't think anything has changed in the plan. I don't even think the outcome will be changed. I do think the Bears are going to get ground down by this run game. I think the Packers are going to run roughshod on that ass. But the difference, though, is that you no longer have the changeup. Previously, you could run roughshod on the Bears defense and then bombs away to Christian Watson or Romeo Doubs. And now that you have taken that changeup away, that is what's going to doom the Packers. You can run all day and night, but if you can't pass, if I'm Eberflus, if I'm Alan Williams, I have no threat at all. I'm bringing them all up to the front. I'm loading the box. Good luck. So to me, I think that is really the key difference maker here in what's led to my 24-20 prediction. As far as MVP of the game, and I think, was there anything else that you needed from me, AC? Was it just MVP in the score?
If you want to hit shout-outs, you go ahead and hit
MVP of the game for me. It's let somebody else have Justin Fields. That's fine. I'm taking Chase Claypool. I think DJ Moore and all these. You have a lot of good options here, but give me Chase Claypool. I've been buying his stock since he was traded for, and I'm still here. I've been here just as strong since. And so while you Fairweather fans have backed out and said like he's a wasted pick and all this, fuck you. I'm excited to ride with Chase Claypool this year. I think he's gonna earn some money. And shout outs, gentlemen. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for having me. It's always fun. Chat, don't take it too seriously. If you don't have to like me, but if you ever want just honest, transparent football takes, I don't pick the Packers over the Bears just because I'm like trying to piss people off. I call it like I see it. I know these gentlemen will speak here and identify that. So I don't have the Packers winning this one, but for future weeks, don't get mad at me. I just call it like I see it, and I appreciate you both for being here. Much love. Bear down.
All right, so I'm guessing it's me next then. I guess it's me.
Yes, sir.
Man, let's start with the MVP, man. I'm not gonna give it to a person. I'm gonna give it to a unit. All right, I'm gonna give the unit to the defensive line. That's who my MVP is gonna be. I do feel a certain type of way because it's more of I feel like the Bears might actually have a hot start to this game, and we put up a couple touchdowns before the Packers actually get the chance to even try to get on the board. And I think that sets them back, and they feel like they have to go into attack mode and try to throw on the Bears, and that's not going to work. So I'm gonna give Yannick Ngakoue, DeMarcus Walker, my cousin Justin Jones, all them young cats. I'm gonna give them their flowers this game and say they'll be the MVPs of this game. I got the score for this game being 27-10. I do not think the Packers are gonna be able to score because of what Jordan was saying. I do feel like because of everything that's going against them, the Bears might load the box in the beginning, make it really hard to run against. And then once they realize that they're down and they have to play catch up, they start to tee off. So, like I said, I'm taking the Bears on this one. I'm saying we put up 27. Yeah, it's a lot of points, but we've seen this team for a spurt of weeks be the number one scoring offense in the fucking league. And that man now that led the charge has an I won't say an embarrassment of riches, but you looking at a lot of land around you now, and you might have gold or oil out there. So my score prediction, 27-10. Shout outs to everybody that's in the chat, man. It's been a long time coming, man. You know, we had a lot of downtime, a lot of depressing nights, a lot of depressing mornings, just looking at each other saying, man, I can't wait for football to come back, and football is fucking back, people. We are all excited. We are all happy. Love you boys, man. It's always nice to be on here with y'all, man. It's good to see Jordan getting his ass up in the morning, man. You are a champ, brother. You are a champ. My boy Chris across the pond, and my boy AC, man. I love y'all boys, man. Football is back, baby. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. All right, my man Chris, what you got today?
Right. Well, I'm definitely going for the Bears win. I think the score will be 21-14 to the Bears. I just think that surely this has got to be our time. I feel like this is the closest the two teams are, sort of talent-wise, balance-wise, for many, many years now. So that's my sort of prediction for the scoreline. I mean, I'm just going to be obvious and say Justin Fields, because we don't want him to take that next step. We want to see him, read them defenses a bit quicker, get the ball out a bit quicker, show who's going to be the quarterback of the NFC North. So I know it's an obvious one, but we all want that guy to do well, because if he clicks and this offense clicks, then who knows where we're going to end up in January. But the most important thing is, shout out to you boys, man. Every Sunday afternoon when it's the NFL season, it's absolutely awesome to get a chance to speak to you guys. And I always learn so much new stuff from you guys. And end of all the talking, it's end of all the predicting, it's end of all the, talking about maybe this and that. It's actually going to happen in a couple hours' time. So, yeah, that's my prediction. Bears win.
Yeah, well, I thought y'all were going to leave me Justin Fields, but you didn't. And I was going to take him for sure. Jordan, they're in the chat. They're confused. Did you pick Packers win or you picked Bears win?
No, I know Bears. Everybody's just hating on me. Yeah, it's fine. I had the Packers beating the Bears before the injuries. For clarification. So as of today, right now, just for all the slows, 24-20. Chicago Bears winning.
Thank you. Okay, that's what I thought. I was very confused when I heard you say it, and then in the chat they were confused.
we are hooked on phonics. That's for some of the slows in the chat. 24-20 Chicago Bears.
Okay. Well, damn. Now I got to pick a new MVP. My score prediction is going to be, man, I'm kind of right there with you, Jordan. I'm feeling like a 24-20 or a 24-17 type game. Bears win, obviously. Not Bears. Someone in the chat said Bears 100, Packers -3, and I love that prediction. Go Bears. But I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with 24-17 Bears win. My MVP is, I'm aware of the guy that I'm repping. Jaquan Brisker gets him a pick today, and fuck it, he's gonna take it to the crib, Chris Watts. So we got Jaquan Brisker. I don't know if that's an MVP or if that would be a bold prediction for that. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'll give MVP and bold prediction to Jaquan Brisker becoming MVP and taking a pick six. I think Justin Fields comes out today and does his thing, takes care of the football, and we win the ball game. He's got all these weapons, these new toys, and I'm excited for it to finally go. Don Burr is the first one to pick Green Bay that I've seen in the chat. Notorious is saying FGB, absolutely. Fuck Green Bay. Screw the Packers, definitely. My shout-outs, first and foremost, is to you boys for coming on here this morning. Jordan Silvera, bright and early out west. My man KB, down there in South Bend, Indiana, in enemy territory with Notre Dame, and he's got touchdown Jesus in his backyard. And my man C-Dub from all the way across the pond. Thanks for coming in today. We talked a little bit of everything, some college football, what we're looking for around the NFL. But it's time. It's go time. It's Bears Packers. We're making Chicago style hot dogs over here at the current house. We're gonna grub out. We're gonna watch the Bears smash the Packers and start a whole new rivalry. Remember, I think John Buffone said this before Brett Favre showed up in Green Bay. we were up 20 games on this team. And since then, we are now down like 10 games on this team. So let's get it started today. It starts with one step. We're going to start taking this rivalry back today. Bear the fuck down.